Hi. First, a little history review. The year 1969. Carlos Santana and his band have achieved public notoriety from their performance at Woodstock. Advance just a little over 10 years from then. They're preparing backstage as headliners for a big concert. At one of the backstage doors, a young guitar maker is trying to get one of his guitars into the hands of Carlos Santana. Slightly before this, he's gotten guitars to Ted Nugent and Howard Leese of Heart. Both are playing his guitars in concert. But Paul Smith is not happy there. He wants Carlos Santana to try out his guitar. They're not allowing him in to go see Carlos, but they do agree to take the guitar that he brought in to show Carlos. That happens. Very shortly after that, the person that Paul was talking to comes to the back door. Paul sees him and is being motioned in. Goes in. Carlos is playing the guitar with a little practice amp backstage, and really likes what he's hearing, what he's feeling in the guitar. He agrees to play it that night on concert, but the sound wasn't quite doing it for Carlos, so he takes it off, switch guitars after not too long of a time, and Paul is concerned. He sticks around until after the concert, talks to Carlos. Carlos is saying, nope, forget it. Paul says, I can fix it. I know what's wrong. It's the pickups. You've been using humbucking pickups. This guitar has the P90 style pickups. I can fix that. No, don't want anything to do with that. A little time goes by. Paul makes another guitar, gets it back into Carlos's hands. He plays it. He's happy. He does use it on stage. But Carlos thinks it's an accident of God. He says that for the first 3 guitars that Paul Reed Smith makes for him. Beautiful guitars. They're playing fantastic. They sound great. It's an accident of God. The 4th guitar, Carlos finally admits, I think you might be a guitar maker. And their relationship is pretty solid from that point on. Fast forward a few years later, quite a few years later, Carlos is trying to talk Paul Reed Smith into making a much less expensive version of a Santana guitar so that younger players can have access to a quality guitar that they can afford. Finally, in the year, it was either 2000 or 2001, Paul Reed Smith and Carlos Santana present the PRS SE Santana guitar. It doesn't look quite like Carlos's signature guitar. The sound is pretty good, pretty close, and it does meet the criteria of being a quality well made, great playing, great sounding guitar for a lot less money. That's gone through at least 4 iterations now. That was from about 2000, 2001 when that guitar was introduced. Today is the first month of the year 2024. So 24 years later, there's been about 4 iterations of that guitar. First one, pretty basic, kind of a slab body, did have a set neck, mahogany body, mahogany neck, rosewood fretboard with some kind of diagonal fret markers. The trem system, I think it was also offered in a hardtail version. That happened that way for 2 or 3 years, and then it got the addition of a little pick guard. I don't know exactly why that was there, but they did. Everything else was pretty much the same. The pickups might have changed a little bit. The third iteration changes more towards Carlos Santana's signature body shape. 22 fret, 24.5-inch scale length. The trem system is there. The controls are still in the same location as the first 2 iterations of the Santana SE guitar. And today we have kind of the last iteration, which is the closest to being what Carlos Santana plays. Still much less expensive, but the controls are way down on the body. The volume and tone control are quite a ways down on the body, along with the 3-way toggle switch. I chose to just get the third iteration. A body similar to one of the first guitars Carlos Santana played was a Gibson. It was a double cutaway Les Paul Jr., I believe, slab body. This does have a slightly arched body or carved top body. But the basic shape is that old school double cutaway Les Paul Jr. style. This has the volume control up here close to the bridge pickup so that you can get to it and kind of use your pinky to roll that down or bring the volume up if you want to. This guitar I found used, new to me, beautiful flamed maple veneer top. It does have a maple cap over a mahogany body. This has a 3-piece mahogany body, I believe, with an absolutely beautifully figured mahogany neck. Big plus. Look at that. It's gorgeous. It came with 9-gauge strings. I prefer, especially on the shorter scale of the 24.5-inch or 24 3/4, which would be a Gibson scale. I prefer 10s by far, and so I put 10s on. I'm still stretching those out. I tightened up the tuning buttons just a little bit. They were a tiny bit loose. This will help them hold a little bit better. And I redid the setup a little bit on this. But beautiful flame maple top, rosewood fretboard, beautiful bird inlays with kind of that third iteration design work on what the logos and everything. The truss rod cover has the PRS, and then it says Santana or SE Santana in kind of blockish style letters. So I wanted to get this because I appreciate the tones that Carlos Santana tries to get. That singing sustain. The pickups are a little bit different, and these mirror what Carlos is using in his signature US-made guitars. These are the import version of those pickups. Same voice. So I wanted to give this a try, and I wanted the version 22 fret neck instead of a 24 fret neck, which is what Carlos is using. I prefer 22 fret neck, and I also like the volume knob here rather than down here. I'm not sure why Carlos prefers it down here, but he likes kind of a small 3 little volume, tone, and 3-way switch down in this area rather than having the volume here. I don't know why. Maybe he's afraid he's going to hit it or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get set up for the sound demo, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Hopefully the strings aren't going to stretch very much more. I've stretched them out a little bit, but they're still not totally settled. I know that. As mentioned before, I did a little bit of setup stuff. I do like a floating tremolo on almost all of my trem equipped guitars, or vibrato equipped guitars. I will be posting some pictures during the playing portions, just highlighting different aspects of the guitar. It's gorgeous. The flame on that neck is just amazing, just amazing. We're going to start out with strictly a clean Fender type amp sound. Neck pickup first. Need to turn down the volume just a little bit. It's a little peaky. Middle position, 2 humbuckers combined. Bridge pickup. Now, I'm going to switch amp styles to more of a Marshall type crunch, and I'll do that post playing. bridge pickup. I'm going to go to the neck pickup now. Now I'm going to add a little bit more gain, kind of that lead sound. Just wanted to give a quick sound example. Later on, when I get used to the guitar, I'll do more of a full review. This is just kind of an introduction to a new, to me, PRS SE Santana model. I chose this model because I wanted 22 frets instead of 24. It positions the neck humbucker a little further away from the bridge, slightly warmer to sound. So there's a little bit bigger difference between the two pickups. I also like where the volume knob is positioned on here versus down here on the newest version that is most similar to what Carlos plays. I like to be able to do a volume swell. And that is much more difficult to do when the volume knob is down here further away from your picking area. So that's why I chose the third iteration of the Carlos Santana SE version as the one that I was attempting to find, and I think I found a beauty. There's a little bit of pick scuffing in the finish here. I can probably buff that out if it really bothers me. It doesn't. Beautiful flame maple veneer over a basic maple cap over a mahogany back, and this is kind of a lighter mahogany. I don't know, looks a little bit different to me, but it's probably something done overseas. This guitar was made in South Korea, this particular guitar, and I don't know if the entire third iteration of the Santana models were all made there, or I'm not sure when they switched over to Indonesia for their production on most of their guitars, most of their import guitars. The neck gorgeous. It's got a beautiful rosewood fretboard, and the birds are beautiful. There's a lot of figure, and I'm sure that's not true mother of pearl. It's probably some kind of acrylic, but it's beautiful whatever they used. So I hope you enjoyed my introduction to the Santana model, PRS SE Santana model, and later on, as I mentioned, when I get used to it more, I will be doing more of an in-depth review that might be years down the road. I want to thank you for watching today and joining me, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. There's a little bell right down there next to the subscribe button that if you click on that, you can be notified the next time I post a video. Most of my channel is focused on the Native American style flute. Guitar was my first main instrument of choice, and I've been playing that for well over 50 years. I love it. I also love the Native American style flute. They actually have a very, very similar, characteristically warm sound quality between both of them. And that's what drew me to these. These are easier to take hiking. But most of my music will have the Native American style flute kind of as the centerpiece. It could be solo. It could be with many other types of instruments, guitar being one of the major ones. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.